Moving on to the conference finals preview. Eastern Conference Finals, Celtics are going up against Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers in the regular season. Like we said, it don't really matter, but that's all we can kind of go off of right now. Celtics won 3-1, and all 3 games that the Celtics won, they on average won about 25 points per game. What are y'all thoughts on this matchup? I know it's going to be quick, but what are y'all thoughts on this?
You want to go, Carl?
I think that I definitely would pick the Celtics to come out of the series. But I think that it'll, especially if Porzingis continues to be out, it might get interesting. Mm-hmm. I think that the Pacers have they have a lot of rotational pieces who can like get buckets.
Yeah,
and I think
the offense is a question.
I think that showed, and I think that the Celtics can beat themselves, and that like Jaylen Brown can turn it over a bunch. Jason Tatum, he's gonna have one.
Kind of force you to play fast than what you normally play.
Jason Tatum is gonna have at least 1 to 2 bad shooting nights in this series because he always does.
Falls in love with the M3 a lot.
Yeah, so I think that they would definitely be able to maybe get a game or two, and make it interesting. But overall, I'm gonna have to go with the Celtics.
Yeah, I think Pascal gonna struggle a little bit more compared to the Knicks just because of the bodies that they have for him. And I think Tyrese Halliburton's gonna have a lot cut out for him as well too, where you can put multiple bodies on him. So that should be interesting. But even without Porzingis, I think it only goes 5 games. They wrapped it. They packed that shit up ASAP.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go up 2-0. I think they're gonna go up 3-0, and maybe they get a game, and then they just gentleman sweep. So,
okay, I'm gonna be the bold one here and say it's going 6. No, that's not bold for real.
That's why I feel like 6 is.
Yeah, he said 2 games. So you said season 6.
Okay.
I said season 5.
Yeah, I think Celtics will pack it up. I think there will be moments where again, Indiana will speed them up on offense.
That's probably gonna be like the first game. That's if it's any game to steal, it's probably game 1.
Yeah,
Celtics
and I mean they will let you steal it.
They will. And then they just be like, all right, let's actually wake up. I feel like if y'all watch Dragon Ball Z, like they just know Kyle can right now. The Celtics, and that's actually turn it up.
And that's the thing. Like I feel like they'll give up a game and then they'll course correct. And I think where Indiana is right now in their maturation process, they're not in a spot to be able to hit back to this team. So
I just like, even if it's a sweep, goes 5, 6 or whatever, I just wanted to at least kind of be like the Denver and the Lakers series where they're at least close games, because I haven't really seen the Celtics be like in a high pressure type moment. I mean, probably just game 3, I think, against the Cavs, where it was a little bit back and forth, and I was like, all right, this is kind of cool to see JB and Jason Tatum kind of take off. But I want to see them in high leverage possessional games in the fourth quarter, like give the ball to your best player. Let's see what y'all do, because my biggest thing was when they play in the crunch time, they kind of act a little bit goofy. So I want to see that with them. And then I also want to ask you guys, is like, obviously you got to play who's in front of you, but I feel like whoever comes out the West will be battle tested. They might be a little bit more worn and torn down a little bit, but do you think that's going to be to the Celtics' disadvantage because they haven't been in high leverage or any good games?
I mean, I feel like you could say that, but I think their talent is enough to overcome that. Especially if we're talking about like Dallas, because I will say this, like the thing about Dallas in the last few years, other than having the bodies like they have this year with Gafford and PJ and Derek, you know, they gonna mimic Luka's mentality, like as far as like all that bitching and complaining to the refs and shit, like in a series where you know it's either going 6 or 7, like you got to be able to keep your composure, you got to be able to like take hits and not, you know, just be mentally tough type shit. And I feel like the Minnesota has that, where it could kind of overcome the Celtics as far as their talent goes, just because I feel like their toughness could kind of be the edge and factor in that type of series and go 7 and win a game 7 on the road.
They proven they can win on the road. Mm-hmm.
So, but as far as Dallas, I don't think it'd be enough going against Boston just because of, I feel like Luka, you know, he just, there are times, there's stretches and minutes in games where he like completely loses himself, I feel, you know, and that can cost you in a playoff game.
Get easy buckets in transition.